Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Daily Extra Live. How are you? It is Tuesday, the 13th of July, lunchtime. So if you're on your lunch, enjoy it. If you're at home chilling, enjoy it. If you're in the garden, because you should be, if you're off, because it's roasting, enjoy it. Woke up today, obviously, to the Thierry Small stuff, which is in the Athletic this morning. So thought we'd have a little chat about that to start with. 16 years of age and once out, because Everton won't guarantee him first team football, which is, I think he's been really badly advised personally. I think his agents are trying to pull one here, make a few quid. Just seeing here, one of the first comments from Live in 4K, we are making a huge mistake by letting Small go. This kid in 4 years will be around the elite left-backs in football, mark my word, guys. But the thing about it is, it's not like Everton are letting him go, is it? Everton have offered him a big contract. He's not even 17 yet. He can't sign that contract till he's 17. And Everton have offered him a bumper contract. They've given him a place in the first team changing rooms and all of that. It's up to him. If he's getting advised, which he is, poorly, which I believe he is, showing again the negative impact of agents in football and advisors, then what can Everton do, really? You can't say, yeah, you're in. We're going to guarantee you're our first team left back. The kid's 16. We don't even know if he can do it at the Premier League level. He's played 5 minutes or 6 minutes at the end of an FA Cup game against the Championship side at the time, Sheffield Wednesday. We've got the French left-back is our number one. Fella that plays for the world champions and plays in their side and has been fantastic for us. He's our left-back. So I don't know what's going on with Thierry Small. The thing about it is, if you actually look, Everton have got a good pathway into the first team for young players. You know, and if people dispute that and say, no, they don't because X, Y and Z hasn't got in the team, I would come back to you and say every player who has shone at under 23 level and looked good enough for Everton has ended up playing in our first team, and then it's up to them whether they can sustain it or not. And this kid, we've already given his debut. Carlo Ancelotti gave him his debut in January, wasn't it, when we played Sheffield Wednesday? So we've given him the opportunity. We've shown him that we think highly of him. He only has to look at the likes of Tyler Onyango, who also made his debut in that game. He only has to look at Tom Davies, who is in Everton's first team squad and has been since he was 17. John Joe Kenny's had come out of 23s and played a number of games for Everton's first team. So, you know, Anthony Gordon has been in and out. So the pathway is definitely there to get into the first team. And at 16, nearly 17, I just think he's taking the wrong advice personally. Staying away from training is abysmal when you are that age, in my opinion. Even if you don't want to sign a new contract and you're trying to engineer a move out the club, which is how it's been worded today, you should be turning up and training. You're letting yourself down, you're letting your teammates down, and you're letting the club that's paying you down. And we are just talking off air before I come on here with Steve, who's in the studio today, and he said what I was thinking. It gives a really bad message out, I think, to other clubs. It's a huge red flag there against his character, I think, from other clubs. If you're looking at him and think, hang on, he's 16 years of age and he's spitting his dummy out because Everton won't guarantee him first team football, I don't think that's a good message to be sending to anybody. I'd want him to get his head down, get into training, work hard, and then if he can get a move out the club, if that's what he really wants, then so be it. But to not turn in, I think, is massively disrespectful to Everton Football Club. And I hope it's resolved, because he looks like he's a talented footballer. Everton have not only promoted him from the under-18 side into the 23s, but he's been in with the first team. He's trained with the first team for months. So quite clearly, Everton think a lot of him. He's been here since I think he was 10 or 11, albeit he's not a Scouser, he's from Solihull. So we'll have to see what happens. It'd be disappointing if he left, but I don't think you can squarely lay this at the foot of the club on this occasion, because If he was 19 and had been superb for years and Everton hadn't had a look at him and hadn't given him a sniff, then I could understand him stamping his feet. But he's 16 and he's already played in Everton's first team. The youngest player ever to play for Everton. So I think it's a bit embarrassing, really, from the lad perspective. The pastime says if he's having offers from bigger clubs, it's hard to turn down. At that age, he is. Is it hard to turn down at 16? You know, you're getting linked with Bayern Munich. Is he honestly, in his own mind, does he believe he's getting into Bayern Munich's first team? Not a chance. Alphonso Davies is one of the best left-backs in the world. And he's 19 himself. There's no chance he's getting anywhere near Bayern Munich's first team. And then two other clubs, Arsenal, they've just paid 30-odd million for Kieran Tierney. He ain't getting in there. Manchester United, Luke Shaw's just had a good Euros for England. You know, they rate him. They've also got the other kid as well who's gone on loan to Southampton, Brandon Williams, who's a good player, who's a bit more experienced. He's going to have another season. So, for me, he's being awfully advised by people who are trying to make money off him. But that's just my opinion. Maxie says, hello. SR says, afternoon, Baz. Afternoon, mate. Dan Boy says, be real embarrassment if we can't keep hold of a 16-year-old. I don't really know I honestly don't really know what more Everton could do without having all the facts. Could Everton offer him more money? I don't know. I don't know what they've offered him, but on the face of it, it seems as though Everton have done the things that you would hope the club would do. Lee Dolman says, not bothered. Fair enough, Lee. Danny Morrow says, shame, but what can the club do? Toto plays YT says, why do Everton always do this? I honestly don't really level this one at Everton, mate. I think Everton have offered them, you know, a pro contract. They've promoted him to train at the first team. They've given him a place in the first team dressing room at 16 years of age. I don't know. Richard Gillam says, it's a disgrace. It is. Adam Brooks says he can't leave because if we were to let Nkunku go on loan, he will be the backup to Dean and Thierry will be class. I know, but if he don't sign a contract, I don't know what we do. I mean, we can keep... He signed academy forms, hasn't he? He's a scholar. So therefore, I think Everton have got him kind of tied down till he's 18. But how tight that contract is at scholar level, I'm not sure. And therefore, is this how his behaviour is going to be now? Because he might want to leave. Well, he quite clearly seems to want to leave the club. So we'll have to see. Dan Starr says, could be a real prospect for the future. Dan Boy says, if Nkunku goes on loan, Small could be on the bench every week and play some games. He could do, but Jordan Penev says, where's he going and who's going to guarantee him first team football? Exactly. Jonathan Rickett says, linked with Arsenal and United, they ain't giving him first team either. Yeah, that's what I've just said, yeah. Henry Forsyth says, why would they be in a better position elsewhere? Surely it should be about him signing and then going out on loan, perhaps to Europe. Yeah, that's the way how you do it. You've got to look at it. Luca Dean is 28, I think, soon. So if Thierry Small signs a new deal, goes on loan, does well this season, has a great season on loan. I mean, I don't even know who would guarantee him game time at 16 anyway, or nearly 17 going on loan. But if he could get that loan, then he's got a year under his belt then playing every week. He could be superb next summer, and then we could be going, oh, Luca Dean's got a real problem here because this kid is pushing him. I don't know. Celtic Vape says another one for the money-making machine. Jonathan Ricketts says he'll have to drop down at divisions. Don Robbio 30XL says, I'd give Thierry Small a first team spot as a left mid. Let him develop, then once he's ready, he can go into left back. Well, maybe that Everton would do that, but you've got to get him to commit first, haven't you? Truvera says Small is third in the pecking order, but after all, he's only 16, so he's got time. Correct. Toto places, where do you think we'll finish this season, Baz? It's hard to say at the moment, mate. I think I honestly believe Everton will be fighting for European football this season. If we can get the pace that we need in, I think that gives us a great chance of doing that. But we still need 4 or 5 players in. I think Benitez will get more out of this squad than what Ancelotti did. But whether that's enough at the moment, if you didn't add to it, that's debatable, isn't it? But I think if Everton had 3 or 4, 5 that they need, then they could certainly push for European football. Adam says Rooney was 16, 17 when he made his debut. He was 16, but he was also one of the greatest players of his generation and has proved he's England's all-time record goal scorer. One of the best footballers England have ever produced, and we knew that at 16. I don't hear many people talking about Thierry Small in that kind of vein. I've heard people say he's got a real good chance. He's highly rated. Wayne Rooney, Everton were ready to give him his debut at 15. I went to Southampton and he was on the bench. They had to take him out of school to put him on the bench at Southampton. He didn't come on that day. So Everton knew. Walter Smith tried to get special dispensation for him to play in an FA Cup game when he was the manager. He was that young. So Rooney, everybody knew, was going to be incredible. Thierry Small looks like a really good prospect, but I don't think he's not at Rooney's level. Gray McIver said Small should look at the path Godfrey has taken to first team in international football. Brands could do worse than asking Rio Ferdinand to have a word with him. Rio would give him better advice as an agent. Yeah, possibly. Eugene says Everton could have an advantage over Inter Milan for Denzel Dumfries. Yeah, that's good. Lee Dolman says bad attitude, lack of professionalism. Other clubs will be aware he's a spoiled brat. Yeah, Lee, that it's showing other clubs, isn't it? That he's not willing to get his head down and get on with it. Mike Bond says the clubs he's linked with won't give him first team football either. Correct. Adam says this is giving me Luchman vibes all over again. Ben Ellis says gotta love his agent's balls to suggest Thierry Small should be starting ahead of Luca Dean and even Niles and Kunku. Well, he will. Though agents will feed. They will be in his ear. You should be doing this. You're good enough to be getting in this side. You're better than him. If we go here, we can get you more money and all that. What do you do? The job is to unsettle. It's no good for agents if you stay where you are as a footballer. They make the money once you move. So, Blue Peter says, all right, lids. Hello, Pete. Lewis Watts says, really, really poor from a 16-year-old lad if he's actually gone AWOL. Got to assume he's not getting the best advice from agents. Correct, Lewis. Keith Powell said, Thierry Small put his availability, or his agent did, at the earliest opportunity. It's obvious that come 17, he'll be a hot property, and if this confident young man will sign to the highest bidder, otherwise, if he saw a pathway, he would not have made the statement. Where's the pathway then, Keith? Because what do you do with the pathway? If you've got Lucas Dean, who plays for the world champions at left back and is fantastic for Everton Football Club, in front of Thierry Small, how do you give him a pathway other than saying work your bollocks off and force the issue with him? You're a kid. Get this contract signed, keep your head down and force your way into this squad and then into the team. You can't say to a young lad, because you're worried he's going to walk out the door, I'm definitely going to play you. You can't do that, because they'd all be at it. So I think there is a pathway into Everton's first team. Adrian says, nobody is bigger than the club. Let the little rat leave. We don't need attitudes like his at this club. Well, yeah, this is the problem, you see. He's going to create it off for his own back, because fans won't have it. They won't have it, and you see it at other clubs. You see, they'll be looking at this with interest and going, he either backs himself or he's got an attitude problem. Steve Donahue says, thing is, who is a better fullback, Small or Nkunku? That's the choice for Everton. I hope we get a good price if he wants to leave. He's a good player, only 17. Will play in any top. Will he play in any top club's first team? I doubt it. Well, that's it, isn't it? That's the decision to make, isn't it? We're all looking at Niels and Kunku and saying, well, really good, good prospect, but still a little bit raw. same as what I'd say to Thierry Small. Now, if he looks at Nkunku and thinks he's behind Nkunku and that's why he won't sign, well then, what do you do there? You know, what do you say? You can't say, well, yeah, we're going to bomb Nkunku out, because it's up to him to go to training in front of the new manager and put himself in the shop window to play. Sorry, that just flew up. Where've I gone? Sorry. Hacken says, Odegaard was 15 when he joined Real. Now at 22, he's on his way to earn his spot in the first team. He was one of the most interesting young prospects in the world back then. Yeah, he's gone. Went off to Real Madrid at such a young age. Didn't really do anything for a few years. Then went to Real Sociedad and really kicked on. Come back. Couldn't get near Real's team again. Come to Arsenal. And now Ancelotti is going to use him. But what's Small going to hang around for 6 years at another club? Because he won't play. Chris says Bayern have just signed a young lad from Reading called Richards. They have, yeah. And Nkunku wants more first team action this season, Bas. Well, he probably does, but he's still only a prospect himself, isn't he? Paul Canazza says he's still a prospect, exactly. Fernando Murphy says, can you please give a big shout out to Big Blues fan CJ McDonald on the birth of his daughter. Congratulations, CJ, on the birth of your daughter. Hope everything is good. Mr. Dorf says his attitude sucks. If he's like that now, then I shudder to think how difficult he will be in the future if things aren't going his way. Yeah. Andrew Owen says, love a couple of players we were linked with. Koulibaly, Max Aarons. What's your thoughts on Nunes? Baz, rumours are he's very good midfielder. Love him the show. Nunes seemed to be edging towards the completion a couple of weeks ago. And obviously things have changed, or things haven't moved on at the moment with that. Whether Rafael Benitez has said, no, we want someone different, I don't know. Or whether Everton, whether Sporting, there's some suggestion Sporting are trying to change the terms. So whether Everton have gone, nah, we don't think he's worth now what you're asking for him. And that's fine. Every player will have a limit on what you're going to pay for him. So he looks like a good prospect. But if the football club don't think he's worth what Sporting want for him, they probably will move away from it. There might be somebody else they feel actually suits the team a little bit better. Who knows? So we'll have to wait and see on that one. Delamere Bear says, I don't think any player should be guaranteed to play first team football. Yeah. Dan Boy says, if he wants first team footy, it's down to Brands to find him alone. That appeals to him. Not if he doesn't want to stay. That's a different thing, isn't it? Bruce says, what do you estimate our summer transfer budget to be? I have no idea, mate, to be honest. I think at this moment, Everton are looking at doing some smart deals for not loads of outlay. If Moise Keane was to go, because he seems to be the most saleable asset at the minute, will bring in a decent amount of money for us. If he was to go, then that opens up a big transfer kitty much bigger transfer kitty for us than what we have now. So therefore, we can move from there and start bringing in different level. If Everton can somehow circumvent the FFP and Premier League rules, then they could spend big again. But at the moment, it's very difficult to say, other than I know they need to move players out. So we'll have to just wait and see how it plays out. But the club are well aware what they need this summer, and they will be making signings. So we just have to hang fire at the minute. Believe that things are ongoing in terms of bringing players in. So hopefully we'll hear the conclusion of them very shortly, and we can move forward with that. James Evans says the lad has obviously had his head turned by his agent. Unfortunately, his current attitude sums up the current situation with modern football. Very little loyalty or hunger to make a name for himself. Yeah, exactly. Martin Roberts says apparently Chelsea want £30 million for Kurt Zuma. Yeah, I mean, I think personally, the Zuma time has come and gone. I just can't see Everton going back for him now. He's a decent defender, but I can't see it going back, if I'm being perfectly honest. Brother_Abel said Vlasic going to Milan, does Everton get a percentage? I think there was a sell-on clause in his contract, but I don't know what that is, how much it would amount to. I've no idea. I just remember, I remember something being reported at the time that there was a sell-on in it, but we'll see. T. Hunter says, remember Jack Rodwell and James Vaughan. I'm sure if he leaves, we'll be okay. Yeah, well, that's the way to look at it, isn't it? He's literally 16. He's not 21 and incredible, and we're going, oh my God, if he leaves, we're wrecked. He's a kid, isn't he? Dosbick says, hi, Baz and Co. Hope everyone is doing well. Yeah, all good, thanks, mate. Hope you are good as well. James Bush says, slightly off subject, could you please arrange a huge interview with Joe Royle? Would love watching that conversation. All I'll say, James, is watch this space. That's all I'll say on that. Where are we? Eugene, Bayern Munich and Man United won Everton left. We've seen that, mate, haven't we? It's, again, can't see it. Can't see him getting in there either. So we'll have to see. Dosbick says, I hope Everton signed Patrick Schick. Wanted them last year too. Has 15, 20 goals in him. Chris Ogden says, Thierry Small, silly boy. In a few years will probably be playing League 1 or League 2 football. Jonathan Ricketts says, why haven't we been linked to wingers? We were linked to wingers early on, weren't we? But it has seemed to have gone a little bit quiet on that at the moment. Doesn't necessarily mean that Everton aren't after wingers. Of course it doesn't. Keith says, where are we? Didn't realise Everton had given him a 13 dressing room space and promises already. Agent is in his head. They are indeed the mafia within the industry. Who's his agent? He's got 2 agents, Keith. So let's leave it there. Nunes, part of the guestdefoot.com setup. George Mendes' agency and his signing would have coincided with Nuno Santos becoming the manager, who's also part of the agency, all tied up within the agency. Yeah, but Everton have been watching him since January and had something in place while Carlo was here, so not necessarily just to do with Nuno. I get, obviously I can see the link, but has changed a little bit. Dosbick, would you have taken Vlasic back, Baz? No, I know he's a very good player, but I'm not convinced he's quick enough for the Premier League for where he wants to play. I think he'll do well in Milan, definitely, and he is a nice footballer, there's no question about it. But I wouldn't offer. We'd have had to like guarantee him a way to play. He can't play anywhere other than off the striker. So, but he is a good footballer. There's no question about it. And I understand people who would have took him back. Just not for me. Lee Riding, losing Small would be crazy. It's obvious that he'll be a star. But Lee, what can we do? That's my point. What more can Everton do? If Everton have offered him a good contract, he's a kid, don't forget. They've given him a place in the first team dressing room. They've given him his debut already at 16. What more can you do? You can't say to him, you're going to play every week, because he's not. So I don't know what else you can do. I understand it'll be disappointing for all of us if he goes out the door, because you never want to see lads who look like the good prospects and could come in and play in your first team and make you good money if you were to sell them. So you never want those players walking out the door. But I'm not really sure what else Everton could do. If you can tell me what else they could do, put it in the comments, and I'll have a look at what you say and we can discuss it. Toto Play says Man United look scary, do they? Sancho improves them, definitely. If they get the players they're linked with, then yeah, they could be very strong. Basic Trigonometry says, how's Pedro today? Well, you know what? He hasn't messaged me, which makes me think that he might just come in through the door in a minute. Because I spoke to him yesterday because I knew he wasn't coming in. But we'll see. Fabian Martinez says, did you see what happened to Lozano? No. Anyone? No one in the room. Let us know, Fabian. What's happened to him? Celtic Vape says, I trust the club to make the right decision on Small. I don't think we've let too many slip through our fingers. No, definitely. Last of the Corinthians says, I'm guessing Rafa's own plans and targets might be slowing down the transfer process. Possibly, or maybe Everton are just working their way through the details of deals that they want to do. You know, not many teams have actually signed players, don't forget. And it tends to be the ones who don't have any FFP issues or don't have any Premier League issues. The likes of Leicester. He's done what's the?
Yeah, the head injury, playing for Mexico. He's in a stable.
Really?
2 days ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, was it? Oh.
On Twitter, it was
He's okay, no, you reckon?
Got a head injury, possible neck break, someone said. What the hell?
Collision with goal.
Oh, that's not good. Wish him all the best. A very speedy recovery. Lovely little footballer, Lozano. Hopefully he gets well soon. Mr. Bluestone says the lad backs himself and sees a pathway elsewhere. Can't blame him if that's his mindset. Yeah, fair play to him. Alan says, sick of hearing about us after centre-backs. Our weaknesses lie in midfield and up front. Yeah, definitely. Small is an ungrateful person. I'm paraphrasing. He's really deluded if he thinks he can get in the first team at some of the clubs that are mentioned. Where are we? Here. Yeah, Fabian. Yeah, that's terrible. That hopefully he's all right, because what a horrible injury that is. Breast Fan TV says, does Rafa play wing backs more than wingers? Maybe we're not being linked to wingers anymore because it's changed his intended system. I think the thing about it is, though, with Benitez is he'll use different formations anyway, won't he? So I still think because he likes to play, he can play a 3-5-2. He likes to do that. He also likes to play 4-2-3-1. And in that 4-2-3-1, he wants someone off the right-hand side, doesn't he? Who's quick and who can score goals. So, you know, maybe they still will. Just because it's not out there, and you can say anything, can't you? Anybody could put anything. I could say on this live now, Everton are after Federico Chiesa, because Juve won a swap deal for Moise Kean, and someone could take that and run with it and go, oh, I've heard this, and then they tell a mate, and then it's somewhere else, and then before you know it, it's a story, and then people are like, oh my God, we're getting Chiesa, and that's really what happens in a transfer window with a lot of agents. A lot of reporters just go, oh, I've heard this, they write something about it, and the next minute it's a story. And everyone then starts losing their head over certain things. But the reality is, a lot of this stuff will be going on behind closed doors. And Everton will do well, and I hope they do, to start keeping this stuff out of the press until it's practically done. That's the best way to do transfer deals. It's no good if they're played out in the press and on social media and everywhere else. You know, and getting people going on Twitter going, this is happening, that's happening, because they know someone at a club somewhere, doesn't help anybody, I don't think. So let's just see what happens. Hopefully it won't be long before Everton are announcing the first signing. Glenn says we need to buy Phillips from Leeds ASAP. I don't think they're going to let him go, and I don't think why would he want to come to Everton at the moment? I think we'd have to be higher up. Leeds have just finished above us on goal difference. Mark D said, Baz had sell Keane and Keane. and raise some funds for new players. Love to sell some of the players who have no future at Everton, but who would buy them? Yeah, I mean, listen, he might listen to offers from Michael Keane. He will listen to offers from Moise Keane. So, yeah. Jonathan Rickett says, how come still no backroom staff? Think there'll be an announcement later this week, Jonathan, regarding that. I think at the end of the week. Lee Riding says, if Luca Dean has another great season, he'll be highly sought after by PSG. Small has to be convinced he'll get his chance. I agree, though. It's not easy. Thing with that, though, is if Dean stays another season, next year he's nearly 29. Are a big club coming in for him at 29, and Everton are the one. He's just signed a new deal as well, don't forget. Yoko says, would it be possible if we gave Small a new contract and put him out on loan? Well, it would be, but you've got to get him. You've got to get him to accept your deal first, haven't you? That'd be it. For me, that would be the way to do it with him. I personally thought what he'd do is he'd sign a new deal and then he would train with the first team up until Christmas so that he had the feel for it, and then he'd go out on loan in January till the end of the season, a bit like Ellis Sims, and then we could assess him in the summer, maybe with the idea to have a full season somewhere then as somebody's left back. But quite clearly that might not happen. Chris Ogden says Bernard should leave as well, but I'm sure if Everton get a bid, he will be allowed to go, and I'm sure he'll want to go if he gets first team football. Breast Fan TV said, I'm now posting that Everton after Chiesa. That's how easy it is though, isn't it? NSNO says, I've just come to accept that Holgate, Davies, Keane, Mina, Kenny, Sigurds and Delph, Wobie, Bernard will all be staying, and I can see us getting the first 10-0. I'm having £2 a week on 10-0. Don't be tweeting that transfer rumour. I was using it as an example. I'll actually laugh if that swap rumour comes to the paper. I'm telling you now, right, that will appear somewhere that Everton are interested in Chiesa because Juventus want Moise Keane. I'm telling you now. Don Robbio says Source, Bazio, Romano. Yeah, there you go. Celtic Vape said, just heard we could swap Keane for Chiesa. There you go. Fabian Delph said, Baz, if you got offered the Everton job next year, would you take it? Yeah, definitely. And I'll be buying wingers straight away. And forwards and the midfielders that can run up and down and are quick. That'd be my first thing. Mark D says, come on everyone watching, hit the like button. We've got 7 minutes left, so anything you want to say, get in now. Adam Brooks, you are right, Adam, though. PSG did come for 30-year-old Ghana with 30 million, so yeah, so maybe. Mike Bond says, Berardi from Sassuolo, I mentioned him 2 years ago and he's just started in the Euros. Yeah, he one Everton could look at. Tony Bethel says Small should be beware taking the Francis Jeffers route instead of building a good career at Everton. Took bad advice, go to a bigger club and his career is over before it started. Yeah. Jason Johnson says, hope Gabaman lights it up this season. I felt so bad for the guy in those snippets where we've seen him. He looked like he has some real potential. Yeah, he was excellent for Mainz. Don't forget, Liverpool wanted him the year before we bought him. Klopp was made up with him. So, listen, I hope if he can stay fit, it's going to be fantastic for us because he's exactly the type of midfield player we need. But you know what? Even though he's like fit and everything, and even if you could promise me that he will be fit for the full season, I would still go and get another midfield player like him and Decore. You've got those legs, because then you can take out Alan, you can take out Decore, you can give Gabaman a break. That's how you do it. Iconic Football Shirt says, no way Juve are swapping Keane for Chiesa. I just used it as an example, but it will appear somewhere, mate, trust me. Mathew Ash says, anyone heard the Chiesa rumour? Matthew McHale says, would you take Jeremy Doku and how much you think he'd cost? Well, he went to Rennes, didn't he? I think they paid 20 million for him, Steve, something like that. They did, didn't he? So, and he was good in the Euros, so they're probably looking 40 million now at least for Doku. Stephen Evans says Chiesa's just been spotted at John Lennon Airport, coming for his medical. Callum Wilson says, is Gomez going to be sold? I think Everton would let him go if anyone coming for him. Do you think we have too many midfielders if we buy another? I do, but I would like us to get rid of a few, because for me, Fabian Delph, I'd sell now. Sigurdsson, I'd sell now. Gomez, I'd sell now. I think we've got to have more physicality in that midfield in terms of being able to do a few jobs, get up and down, dominate the midfield. We were too slow. Last year. Dov says, let's just start getting players in. We absolutely cannot start the season with this player pool and expect a challenge for Europe. No, I agree. We will get players in. You're right, though. If we start with the same pool of players, but we might do all right, but it's that we haven't got that pace, that wins you stuff. Like, what wins you stuff as in wins you games, tight games, or defo on the counter-attack. Dan Boy says Angel Gomez from Lille would be a good signing, or Angel Gomez. Fabian Delph says, will you be doing watch-alongs, match reactions for the pre-season matches? Know what, mate? I've thought about doing watch-alongs for the Florida Cup, but it's 1:30 in the morning, the first one. So I'll be watching it, but we'll do match reactions after it. No. What we'll do is like kind of what we did with Accrington game. So we'll just recap it and have a chat about it. I think it'll be easier, obviously, to do when we've seen the full game. So, which we will be watching the Millionaires game, and it'll be what Inter Milan or Arsenal won't at the other one. So be able to do that, Manchester United be able to do that, and have a proper opinion on it rather than just having a chat about players who played in it. Right, last couple of minutes. Tazul says, what have you started bad? I was just doing it as an example. Anthony Clay says, my mate's dog walker's cousin gets a bus with the fella who's boss on FIFA, and he said we're after Messi. Yeah. Chiesa just been spotted at the Titanic. Just seeing the headline, Chiesa for Keane Coop source Toffee TV. There you go. Chris Ogden says, Connor Cody be a good signing, good player, play defensive midfield, good organiser. No. Iconic football shirt says, Pickford was amazing, boys. Proud. Dan Boy says, Doku would be 50 million plus. That's just the price of wonder kids. I would definitely go and get Moussa Diaby from Leverkusen. 100%. That's who I'd go for. And I think Everton could get him as well. Celtic Vape says, Jim White waiting for Mashiri call on the Chiesa swap. Basic trigonometry, it's the nail on the head though. Says Peg could do a watch along 1:30 a.m. is his afternoon. I'll be up, but doing a watch along at 1:30. Who's going to listen to us watching at 1:30 in the morning? Do you really want to listen to us talking about a game at 1:30 in the morning? Honestly. NSNO says I'd take Musa. Yeah, he's boss. Sol says, how many fans do you reckon for the first game back at Goodison? I reckon it'll be full house. That's what they're saying, unless it changes. They're saying it'll be full house. Alex Davies says, still think James is leaving. Don't know. I honestly don't know if he's leaving. I've never said he would go. It's just he's getting linked with leaving. I'd love to keep him, to be honest. Glenn Watson says, instant match reactions at 4 a.m, please. Imagine it, mate. Imagine it. Hit that like button before you go. Get it over 100. I'd massively appreciate it. It really does help the channel. Thank you very much. Fabian Delph saying, how do we watch the Florida Cup games? Well, they are televised. I don't know whether Everton are just going to put them as free. I know season ticket holders get them. But Everton may still just put them out free on YouTube, or Florida Cup itself might just... they might just put it out anyway, because it's not really Everton's game, is it? It's a tournament, so I imagine you'll be able to watch it no matter what. You'll definitely be able to watch it on He's Goal, because if there's a feed for it, they will have it. Barry Wall says, bit behind in the video, but Small not turning up for training. Wow. Chris Ogden says, would you take Daniel James? I think I would, as an option. He's got pace and we don't have any. I know his end product isn't very good. I do understand that. John Bailey says, you can't blame Thierry Small for wanting to leave. Our academy is horrendous and never have a pathway. I disagree with the pathway thing. I think players, if you're good enough, you get into our first team squad. If you're good enough, you play. Anthony Gordon showed that. I'd suggest most of the players we've had haven't been good enough to play in our first team. That's just my opinion. Not them. It is what it is, isn't it? Can we still expect the top six? Well, we haven't been in the top six for years, so I don't think we can expect the top six, no. Can we challenge for it? Yeah, of course we can. If we can get these 3 or 4 players in who the club are after and who we need, then of course we can get in the top six. West Ham have just proved it. Leicester prove it every week, every year. So, Dan Boy says, Dan James would be sound off the bench. Absolutely. Listen, one more thing. I'm going, first player out the door should be myself. Do you agree? Fab, yeah, go and play for Burnley. I think you'd be boss for them. Jason Johnson says, thought FFP was being relaxed. Is it true? It's been changed, but that's European football. The Premier League rules are what need to be relaxed. And just right now, it hasn't happened. Let's hope Everton push the envelope on it. Do us a favour, Ned, put that link into for the footy show. I would have thought you or Big Basic would have had it in.
I've already done it. I'll just pin it.
If you like general football, go and give the footy show a subscribe. There it is. The link is there. Much appreciated that. We talk about everyone, not just Everton, everybody. But nice one. Thanks very much. Subscribe if you haven't. We do this every day. It's been great having a chat with you all. Some great points of view on here. Very interesting ones as well on Thierry Small. Ideally, the lad will stay, but we'll have to see. John Bailey says, last one I'm going to read. All right, Baz, mate, I left England and moved to Italy near Capri over 10 years ago, and I've had mixed feelings toward the final the other day. Wanted Italy to win, and in the end, chose right after seeing the English fans. Yeah, the English fans thing, and let's not tar every England fan with the same thing, but some of them scenes were absolutely disgusting. Really were. Horrendous. Some kids with the parents and that, making them scared to go and watch a football game, should be ashamed of themselves. Throwing bottles at women and absolutely disgusting. We don't need that, because there'll be amazing number of England fans who were great and who didn't cause anything, but always jumped on by people trying to cause issues. So disgusting, John. Basic Trigonometry says, I want a video with the sound that Ned uses when he releases players when Delph leaves. That's what we'll do. Right, thanks very much for watching. If you're a patron, we'll see you later at 5 o'clock. We are live on Patreon for well over an hour. Steve Kelly joining us today for that one. Thanks, everybody. Take care. See you later.